All right, we got two more upsets for game one so far. I guess it depends on who you pick to win these series, but the Knicks come back and beat my Celtics. And if you're wondering, am I now scared of the Knicks? No. If they win game two, then we can perhaps have some convos. And then the Thunder, they give away this game at the end. A lot of fouling up three. And then Gordon makes a three, and before you know it, it's 1-0 Nuggets. Oh, and also there's a sponsor in this video. I guess we could start with the Thunder and the Nuggets because it's fresh in my mind. So what the hell happened here? It was like 14 seconds left, and the Thunder were doing the foul up three thing. And I'm saying to myself, oh my God, this is going to take 100 years because it's going to be foul to stop the clock on one end and then foul to prevent a three on the other end. And this also coincides with Jokic not being able to get back in the game because the Nuggets don't have any more timeouts. And then it's Chet misses free throw, Russ brings it up, Gordon three, ball game. Did I miss something else among all that, or was that pretty much it? I mean, we could talk about like how the Nuggets got it a little closer as the game went along, and there were some good defensive possessions in there, putting two on SGA and stuff, but like, what the hell just happened? I will say, look, somebody's going to have the numbers of what the hell is the correct thing to do with this. 14 seconds left on the clock, which is when I believe that Caruso foul on Jokic was, which initially I thought Jokic like drew a foul on Caruso somehow, because I'm like, oh, you usually don't see it that early. It just feels very, very early to do that. Like typically when you see teams do that, it's for like one play with, I don't know, 4 seconds left in the game or something. So I don't know, maybe that's the basketball gods just saying, no, we're not going to allow this. As far as how we got to that moment, so SGA was cooking a bit in the fourth, and then we had a series of plays where there was a quick double on him, and then it becomes, throw the ball around, whatever. iHeart ends up missing a floater. He can make a lot of those, but this one was a little deeper than I think he and OKC would like. Another play, SGA, he doesn't even really challenge the Nuggets on this one play. It just becomes a Chet 3 where the look was okay, but he misses. And then you had a couple of really, really great defensive plays where the double on SGA, I think it was by Christian Brown and Russ, leads to J-Dub having to drive, but Jokic had already been ready on the rotation to meet him at the basket. And so then it just becomes like Murray, and I think Russ came back in the play and had some crazy contest, and Jokic is there, and that's a miss. Another time, Gordon somehow wrestles the ball away from Chet and hits the floor and calls a timeout. Like, that's like the championship effort that we saw at times in the Clippers series. And then again, just whatever the hell happened late in the game there. And then I guess to talk about the game in general, look, there were definitely stretches of this game, especially in the first half, where it felt like OKC's defense was perhaps going to be too much. Caruso had an incredible game, whether it's stealing passes that Jamal Murray thinks are routine passes, but clearly Caruso was ready for them, or among the amazing game that Jokic had, little plays where like J-Dub helps off of Peyton Watson in the dunker spot to strip the ball away from Jokic as he's being guarded by either Chet or iHeart in the post, stuff like this, right? But then, whether it was Russ having some really nice cuts at the same time as the Murray-Jokic two-man game, whether it's Jokic just punishing Caruso on a switch, or making a three over iHeart, or they give him the entire side of the floor, so OKC can't really bring an extra body, or else they're going to have to do it from the other side of the court, and he makes like a jumper over Chet. I mean, Jokic was incredible tonight. Before we talk about some more stuff, this video is sponsored by SeatGeek. Kendrick and SZA have a show on the 12th at Gillette Stadium. I assume it'll be a good time. Also, the Celtics are about to play the Knicks in Game 2 in a little bit, and also there's a whole bunch of NBA playoff games happening right now, and if you wanted to go to any of those games, or any concert, or music festival, or many things, then you could use SeatGeek, and I have in the past. It's always been a good time, and you can use my code AFunkyDiabetic10 for 10% off your next order at SeatGeek. That is whether you are a new customer or not, no matter how many times you have used SeatGeek in the past. SeatGeek rates deals on a scale of 1 to 10. Green means good, red means bad, so look for the green dots. You can find my link in the pinned comment as well as the description of this video. One more time, SeatGeek, 10% off your next order, whether you're a new customer or not. Funky Diabetic 10, 10% off. Use it for a whole bunch of things. Go watch your team in the playoffs. It'll be a good time. Good stuff, man. I mean, I'm remembering a play versus, if not a smaller lineup, then not a center dealing with him directly on this play where he just bodies through a bunch of guys to get something. And then, even with all that said, it still feels like if OKC just didn't try whatever the hell they tried late there. Did I miss something that ended up happening in that stretch that I'm just like totally forgetting and you're yelling at me right now for forgetting? Or was it really as simple as like, what are you doing with these fouls? And then Gordon made a three. Again, there's a time and a place to foul up three. It just felt like they were doing it too early and too often. Anyway, is there anything else about that game? I'm just stunned they won the game. I mean, basically every type of thing I was wondering about in this game we basically saw, where eventually they doubled SGA, and we assumed that was going to happen. Okay, it happened. We had the Thunder defense at times looking really overwhelming, and I'm just going to move on, and I'm going to... What the hell happened at the end of this game? Okay, now we go on to my Celtics and the Knicks. My Celtics unraveled and then some. Look, I understand. They shot 15 for 60 from three. It went to overtime, whatever. That's too many threes, okay? Listen, I'm a big fan of three-pointers. I respect the hell out of the math. When a team does not shoot enough threes, I am glad to call it out. I just did it with the Rockets when they took 18 threes in Game 7. But 60 is too many. And the thing that feels dumb about this is, like, early in the game, you can see plays where Tatum makes a three over Mitch on a switch or something like that, right? And I guarantee you, if you went through every single Celtics missed three tonight, and obviously the Knicks played good defense on some of these. I'm not going to act like this was just the Knicks were bystanders to all of this. We'll say nice things about them. But if you go through all these threes, I guarantee you, like, it's not going to look horrible all the time. But I'm saying, especially like mid-third quarter to the fourth, it just felt like there needed to be just more drives at times, man. Okay, sure, Derek White misses an open three where I want to say it was Tatum drew help. Jalen misses an open three off of a down screen, open catch and shoot, okay. And sure, when they did drive, the Knicks were packing the paint like crazy, and it becomes like Tatum missing something at the rim, or, I mean, hell, Jalen airballed like a long two when he got Brunson on a switch. Like, I don't even know if there's a point here, or if I'm just airing my frustration out with the outcome of certain plays, but there was just a flow or a mismatch hunting, or just the Knicks giving you the switch that you want, but then them just really holding firm on the ball and timing their help, or just packing the paint when they needed to, and you missing some threes that you typically make. Whatever the case was, it just felt like the Celtics at a certain point didn't want to go to the paint that much. And I really don't want to be the like back in my day guy when it comes to take less threes, but 60 threes is crazy, even in an overtime. So whether that has to be like, I mean, listen, I reference this all the time. When Tatum screens for Derek White, a lot of the time Tatum will get a switch around like the free throw line. Maybe just that alone can be enough to influence you more to get more stuff at the rim. And of course, again, if you go through all these threes, some of them are going to be catch and shoots and the whole thing. Anyway, as far as the story of the whole game, where OG was great and Brunson, I mean, he was definitely going for the Horford switch as the game went along. Made a couple of crazy threes on him. I don't know how the hell he missed that one floater that he got off when he cut off of Cat. But yeah, the Knicks, they definitely had some good defensive plays. Of course, there was McHale still in the one on Jalen, but there was a great play in the overtime where Cat had to help on, I think it was Brunson, because Horford had a seal on him, and if he got a clean catch, it was going to be an easy one. Cat came down there and messed that one up. I remember Cat holding up really well on a switch on Jalen in the fourth, and by the way, the Knicks have clearly told us they are willing to give the Celtics the Cat switch because it keeps them out of rotation. I mean, I said this in my preview for the series, and I think a lot of people said the same thing, where there just isn't a perfect solution here. Like, no matter what you want Cat to do, drop on screens, hedge and recover, switch, two to the ball, it's either we're in rotation or the big is on an island. We got to live with something, okay? Anyway, they stole it from Drew after they collapsed on Jalen. Also, speaking of Drew and Jalen, I feel like they're taking too many threes fourth quarter. They took 15 threes in the fourth, and I did not love all of them, at least in the moment. You look at replay, maybe they look a little better, but they ran like a little Drew-Jalen screen action, like a guard screen. They got a layup. That was cool. Another time, I think it was Drew and Tatum were involved in a little two-man game, and it became a Derek White open three, but it was a super-duper wide-open off-the-catch corner three, which I think was at least a little different than some of the threes that they were missing in the fourth. This is me attempting to have a reason. Like, sometimes the threes just don't go in. Maybe it's that simple, but 60 is still a crazy amount. Unless, again, they go in, then I don't care. So, hey, kudos to the Knicks. Now, as far as other things in this, we saw throughout the game that Cat got hit with some pretty rough fouls early, especially the one where Tatum, I love Tatum, but, like, that was just plain old, I'm just going to flail into you and hope for a call thing, and they actually gave it to him. And that probably did take Cat out of some rhythm, but we saw in the third quarter when he was able to get more post-ups, whether it's on Jalen or Drew or Tatum, sometimes Horford, sometimes the help's coming, sometimes it's single coverage. For the most part, Cat was not doing well in that stretch, and that is something to pay attention to moving forward. There was also Porzingis, where, of course he was going to be on Josh Hart. We all knew that going into this. And in the first few possessions, I did think that Porzingis' presence was cool, even if he himself was like not really blocking or getting any crazy contests on anything at the basket, at least that I'm not remembering, I guess. But then at a certain point, between the Knicks collapsing on him on the other end when he would get a switch or whatever, it just felt like he was kind of out there and that was it. And now he's got an illness and we'll see with that one. I don't know. Might have to be more Horford, probably more Luke Cornett, who I think did about as okay as you could ask him to do. So yeah, I don't know. Just a wild one, really. I mean, OG had 29. I know he made a bunch of nice threes. I don't remember them all specifically to say them, but shout out to OG. So credit to the Knicks. The energy definitely went to a different level, like mid-third, I want to say. And I will also say Jaylen Brown, I felt like overhelped on some threes. I want to say there was like a McHale corner three and then a Brunson corner three as well, where both of those I was like, Jaylen, I don't know if you needed to rotate that hard. Anyway, shout out to the Knicks. I think the Celtics just need to, even if like you get the switch you want, perhaps just get like another action going, another off-ball screen, or just anything, even if it's just a hard, quick drive, whatever. Kind of go back to like the Dallas finals where the big thing was like Tatum and Jalen just keep on driving when you get those little seams, all that. That's the biggest thing. Because again, 63, that's just too many. If you can drop that down to around 40 and then do what else you typically do, then okay, fine.